Cara Zwibel is with the Canadian Civil Liberties Association. Thanks so much for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
And we're getting this commission started now. And this morning you made the point again, and it's a point you've made over the past several months, that the threshold was not met for the Emergencies Act declaration several months ago. What are the key questions then that you're hoping comes out of this inquiry, and especially this phase we're going to be hearing from witnesses now over the next several weeks?
So, I think we want to hear, what evidence the government is relying on to support their view that there was this serious threat to national security or a serious threat to the lives, health, and safety of Canadians. There's no doubt that there was a crisis situation. The question is whether it rose to that level that's set out under the Emergencies Act. And we haven't, heard evidence from the government that we think supports that view. I think some of the other things we want to understand have to do with how information was shared among the various levels of government and the various police services that are involved, and did that system work effectively in making sure everyone knew what they needed to know and could take steps and cooperate to address the circumstances on the ground.
So looking at the witness list then over the next several weeks, are you concerned that we're hearing from enough voices, that we're hearing from a wide enough array of the people who were involved in it? Certainly we are going to, in theory, be hearing from the Prime Minister at the end of these hearings. But just your thoughts on the overall scope of people that we're going to be hearing from.
Yeah, I think I think there are concerns about some potentially missing voices. Again, there's the hearings that will involve witnesses coming in person to give evidence. There are other ways that the Commission is going to be putting evidence in, so we need to see exactly what some of those things will look like. But in particular, there aren't a lot of people that are representatives of provincial governments on the witness list, and so there may be some information missing there about the relationships and the communication between the federal level of government and provincial governments.
And we've also been told to expect thousands of documents over the next several weeks, including the decision by the government to, what they say, they're going to waive cabinet confidence for many of these documents. Now, we know yesterday here in Ottawa, you expressed some concern about that. What are your concerns about the public actually being able to see these documents, to see what was actually informing the government as they work towards making that declaration?
Yeah, so I think that my understanding, I guess, at this stage is that cabinet confidence has been waived in terms of sharing information with the Commission, and what I don't know yet is whether that extends to sharing information with the parties and potentially with the public in terms of introducing some of that evidence over the course of the hearings and getting those documents, before the public. So I think we need to see exactly what that process involves. There's also, we know that there are going to be some claims around national security privilege, and the Commission has already indicated that they anticipate a short in-camera proceeding involving witnesses from CSIS. So, we need to understand sort of what the Commission will see versus what the parties will see, and how that information gets communicated to the public.
All right, and finally, I want to just talk to you about the overall timeline. It was one of the first things we heard Justice Rouleau talk about this morning in comparing this inquiry to some other high-profile commissions that took several years. He's had 300 days, essentially, from the time the commission was called until he has to report. What concerns do you have about the timeline for actually going through all this information and for the commissioner to be able to reach conclusions?
Yeah, I think it's a huge challenge. I think that it sounds like everyone involved in working for the commission has been working 24/7 to try and get to get things in shape to get to this point, and will continue to have to do so to get things to across the finish line by February of 2023. At the same time, I think that there is a benefit to not allowing something like this to drag on for several years. The benefit, the one main benefit of getting a report by next February is that we will have something with findings of fact and with recommendations that is relatively close in time to the events. Not a few years down the road when maybe people have sort of forgotten about how significant this was. So there are benefits to doing things quickly, but we obviously don't want the quality to suffer, and I think everyone that's involved in working with the Commission has been trying very hard to make sure that's not the case.
All right, we'll certainly be watching over the next few weeks. Cara Zwibel, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.